Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of FA Live. My name is Caitlin Brower. I am the Director of PR, Social Media, and Events here at First Advantage, and I'm also your host of FA Live. I'm so excited to be back here today. As you can see, I've got two great guests above me, and they should be no stranger to you. You see them at events, you see them on FA Live, you see them on social media. They are everywhere. So today with me, I have Harris Bornstein and Matt Gay, and as you can see on the bottom of our screen, we're talking about HR technology partnerships in action, and then driving customer success through integration and innovation. And quickly for our audience, real quick, over on the, in the top corner here, you see a QR code. We're going to be talking a lot about partnerships, integrations today. So if you want to go ahead and quickly scan that, you'll get all the information that you need. I'm going to throw this up there a couple times throughout the episode, but just take a look at that as we go through. Harris, Matt, thank you so much for joining me today on FA Live. I'm super excited to be here. Can you go ahead and introduce yourselves to our audience and share a little bit about your role? Matt, I will kick it to you first.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having us. So Matt Gay, head of sales, been with the organization for just over 22 years, the vast majority of which has been in go-to-market, so sales-related functions. But I have had the distinct pleasure of spending just under 2 years as part of the partner organization. So I think that gives me a little credibility for today's conversation. And, I am going to hand it off to Harris to let me go first, because while 22 years sounds amazing, I always get overshadowed by Mr. Bornstein.
Great. Thanks, Matt. And thank you, Caitlin. I appreciate the introduction and the ego stroke. It's great to be here. Yes, I'm Harris Bornstein. I head up our global partnerships team based in New Jersey. And as Matt said, I've been with the organization for over 26 years combined between Sterling and First Advantage. And in the partnership game since 2011, I did have the honor and privilege of working closely with Matt. In fact, Matt was leading the partnership organization for those couple of years. So I attribute all of our success, of course, to Matthew. So we now manage an ecosystem of a couple hundred partners with a lean, mean, but amazing team of 6 partner success leaders. And to be clear, when I say partners, while we manage all of our channel and referral partners today, we're talking about our integration partners. So excited to be here, and thank you both again.
Absolutely. Well, I do have a plethora of questions for the two of you, but just to kind of set the stage and to kick things off, how do partnerships and sales come together to create value for our customers? So Harris, I'll start with you, and then Matt, you can join in.
Yeah, so good question. Everything that we do is prioritized based on our customers' needs. Our customers always come first. And typically the decision to bring in an applicant tracking system or human capital management platform comes first. So our buyers are in similar circles as those making decisions around talent acquisition. So our customer or prospect has already established trust with their ATS. So it's important for us to have a strong relationship with them so that they can help not just advocate for us, but also collaborate with mutual customers to provide the best experience possible. So the reason we take all of our direction from our commercial teams, like Matt's team, is because they're on the front lines with our prospects and customers, whether it's scoping out a potential new partner or evaluating enhancements to existing integrations. We work very closely with our internal teams and with our counterparts at partner organizations to ensure that we're adding value for our customers and their candidates.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much I can add on top of Harris there. He kind of nailed it on the head. So essentially, this is where it comes together for us with these partnerships is that merger of the technologies and creating that seamless experience. So,
yeah,
we very much value those relationships and value those partnerships.
Love that. And that was just a little teaser of us getting into the full conversation today. So again, I'm going to pop that QR code up in the top corner for everyone to scan real quickly. And I also want to send a gentle reminder. If you're watching live on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube right now, you can ask Harris and Matt questions live throughout the show. Just go ahead on each of these platforms and put your question or comment in the comment box. Again, on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, there's that QR code that's going to go away right now as we go ahead and get into the conversation. So let's start with why partnership matters. Matt, we'll come to you first here, then Harris. Why are partnerships and integrations such a critical part of background screening today?
So it's interesting. I think to understand why it's so important is to understand the place of digital identity and background screening as part of like the HR technology ecosystem. So although we're a pretty small part of the onboarding journey, the impact of those experiences is pretty significant. When they're executed correctly, it can have a great influence on applicant experience. It can greatly and dramatically improve hiring efficiency. So by partnering with the different ATS and HCM platforms, what we're looking to do is build intuitive processes for both the applicants and the recruiters, as well as deliver effectively like a frictionless, high quality experience. Our clients expect it, the applicants expect it, and quite candidly, that's what we strive to build. So we're working closely. We're trying to build these integrations that just feel like natural extensions of their hiring workflows.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'll just echo the sentiments around efficiency. Having the ability to order and manage screening through one system, it just brings tremendous value through our partnerships. Not only on the pre-employment side, which, this day and age is really table stakes, but looking at ways we can enhance those integrations and looking at other parts of the candidate journey, like looking at the top of the funnel for identity verifications, which I'm sure we'll talk about a lot during this conversation. Yes. And then also looking at how we can integrate with talent management platforms or HCM platforms, or even payroll, to be able to tap into an active employee base for ongoing screening or monitoring, in addition to the pre-employment side.
Yeah, well, it would not be an episode of FA Live if we did not talk about identity. So Harris is absolutely correct. That conversation is coming. But Harris, a follow-up question to you. How are integrations helping to simplify and speed up hiring?
Yeah, so I guess I'll kind of start with the top. As I mentioned, verifying that the person is who they say they are is really step one. I mean, when you're running a background check on someone whose identity has already been verified, you're starting, you're running your background check with pre-validated data. So there's no question as to whether or not you're getting your screen back on the right person. There's no question as to whether or not we're checking the right jurisdictions or checking the right names. You eliminate a lot of that doubt up front. And so, getting that consistent data is, and eliminating the risk of entry errors or inaccuracies is paramount. So from there, I go back to what I mentioned earlier, having everything in one system, the efficiency of doing so, not having to utilize multiple systems. These are all ways that our customers can speed up time to hire.
Yeah, if I may, just to jump in, like I think it must be said, but driving down that friction, right? If you're capturing data in an applicant tracking system, in a resume, passing that through to your background screening provider. Harris used the term before, table stakes, but that's it. That's exactly what it is. We're really trying to give the applicant the appropriate experience so that they're not re-entering data, that we are keeping it as high quality as possible.
Mm-hmm. So Matt, you led partnerships. Harris, here we are, fast forward to today. You both have the experience. You mentioned our very impressive ecosystem. Harris, what's making that ecosystem so strong in this particular space?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, it's important to accommodate where at least 90% of the market share is as far as using talent acquisition or TA technology platforms. And we've done a really good job with that over so many years. Again, just given our experience and our incredible customer base. We'll never be able to integrate with everyone. I feel like I get requests every day, and new systems are popping up constantly. But in cases where we don't have integrations with a customer's ATS, we offer APIs that will allow them or the ATS to directly build to us. In addition, it's also important to have a diverse offering of third-party products that can help us enhance our offering to clients. So those are important partners to us as well. When I look at the ecosystem, so as a business structured the way we are, and the importance of industry expertise, which I'm sure Matt will talk quite a bit about, and rightfully so, it's important to me that we're aligned with the needs of our business, so that our partnerships team works to ensure that if there are partners that have a specific industry niche, that we have an inside track there. And then once we partner, we can work strategically with all, our internal and external partners to help each other grow revenue within those industries. So I love those cases where we have partners that have that industry specialty.
Mm-hmm. And it's a great segue because we are leading right into that industry showcase and spotlight. You did mention the API, so I want to throw up the QR code again because you actually learn more about that API as well on this page for you to go take a look. And as we go into that industry spotlight, some of our employees are calling out our guests on LinkedIn right now. So we do want to there's thank yous across the board. If you are choosing to join us today live on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, we all, from everyone First Advantage, thanks you. And again, we're just delivering great content episode after episode. Going into those industry spotlights now, Matt, can you highlight some of the industries you're involved in and the biggest hiring and compliance challenges that these organizations are facing today?
Yeah, so my commercial team works across a pretty diverse set of industries with some pretty unique hiring dynamics, but interestingly enough, across the different sectors, remarkably consistent on what they're looking for. So from an industry perspective, we support high volume hiring mm-hmm. and non-regulated knowledge worker sectors. So think for high volume hiring, staffing, retail, hospitality, gig, and then non-regulated knowledge workers, financial services, professional business services, technology, media, entertainment. Across all, they're focused on driving efficiency, having less resources and reducing turnaround time and doing so without sacrificing accuracy. So that's pretty consistent. I would say also consistent. We're going to be it's a dead horse we're going to beat to death today. Identity fraud, right? Yep. They're all concerned with identity fraud. They're worried about bad actors getting in there by manipulating biographic data and then introducing risk into their workplace. So really what our goal is, we got to help them mitigate these risks. We want to build in speed and efficiency. We want to drive accuracy. And we want our clients, our joint clients, to be able to operate with high confidence and efficiencies. So that's, ultimately, some of the biggest challenges they're facing today.
You are spanned across many industries, so you have your hands full, obviously. And with those challenges that were just mentioned, are you seeing any of them differ depending on company size, growth stage, globalization? And then again, we talked about how many industries there are as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So again, I mentioned core objectives, pretty consistent, right? Mm-hmm. Where you'll see some differences is in those two buckets, right? If you look at high volume hiring organizations, very much prioritizing speed and simplicity, right? They want an integration that's going to reduce applicant friction, that's going to accelerate onboarding, that's going to make their hiring practice and process faster, right? Conversely, if you look at the non-regulated knowledge workers, every single hire is high stakes. So these companies mm-hmm. are emphasizing compliance, qualifications, candidate experience, right? A really cumbersome experience can have a negative impact on employer brand, make it harder to compete for talent. So while they both share a lot of similarities of being asked to do more with less, there are some slight nuances on how you'll find the different industry-specific integrations built at standard, right? A handful of them, you never see our applicant experience, right? In others, applicant experience ends up being the thing. So I think it really depends on industry and then growth stage.
Yep. All right, let's go into that a little bit more because you did mention the candidate experience. I want to bring the customer experience into that too. So enter First Advantage and our partnerships and integrations. How are we then now? You explained what people want, but how are we exactly solving these challenges? And again, looking at customer and candidate information. This is for both of you. So Matt, if you want to continue what you were just going on there.
Of course. So, basically our partnerships, it's going beyond technology, right? Like these are strategic relationships. That's why we have Harris. That's why we have his team. They're keeping us aligned with partner roadmaps. So by aligning with our partners and partner roadmaps, we're able to think about client needs and build integrations that are leveraging the full power of the ATS or the HCM. The result ultimately is like we're building these either seamless or nearly seamless experiences for both the applicants and the candidates that are functional, that are intuitive, that are impactful. And it's really this collaborative approach that transforms these integrations from like just connectors to real value drivers.
Yeah, and I'll just to jump in real quick, kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. Some of our most successful partnerships are those where we've identified ways we can help improve efficiency or enhance an offering within an industry. That is really one of our top differentiators. And Matt and his teams and our customer success teams, they're really truly our subject matter experts for screening within their respective verticals. So beyond just our products and, we can build that trust with partners and with our customers by leaning in on that industry expertise. So high volume hiring, like Matt said, healthcare, transportation, staffing, these are all areas where we have partners who are industry leaders. So our combined expertise makes for a truly successful partnership. By the way, speaking of trust, how about a quick shout out to First Advantage being named to Newsweek's most trustworthy companies in the world?
Yes.
It's quite significant recognition. I love to see that.
Love that shout out. That was announced yesterday after 4 p.m. Eastern. So very fresh off the press there. Thank you so much for that shout out. You can see the announcement across our website on social media. Again, really just awesome recognition for the organization. And you see that come through in the conversations that we're having with our customers, with prospects, with partners to create this ecosystem and to get it better. Ultimately, again, for that end user, our customer and candidates here. So to kind of further that along, we're talking about that customer relationship with the hat. And I love talking about that because we're constantly consumed in there with them. We're communicating with them. We bring them in for roundtables. We bring them to collaborate our customer event. So you can always imagine that there's a lot of questions and people want to know what's going on. So Matt, I assume they're asking you questions about integrations. So what is the most common question you're getting from customers?
So I think what's interesting is like most companies, they have like baseline functionality that's expected, right? Really where they're focused, like what enhancements are we offering beyond the basics, right? Talk about the sophistication of our integrations. What can we do above and beyond what they're either doing today or had done historically? Also, again, here it comes again, identity, man. How do we use identity to help mitigate fraud? How do we help it to improve accuracy of the background experience? How do we help it to ultimately just make a better mousetrap, so to speak? So ultimately, it's what more can we bring beyond the base level functionality, right?
So we've tapped into some of the challenges that we're seeing across industries, size, global organizations. We've talked a little bit about the questions that our customers are asking. Let's move the conversation now to actually the implementation. And so the integrations are coming in now with, our customers and through our platforms. So this question is for both of you. So Matt, you can start and then Harris will come to you. Once a customer is choosing to integrate First Advantage with their ATS or other HR platform, what does the implementation process look like?
Yeah, thanks for letting me go first because this is near and dear to my heart. So ultimately, this is where all of the sales work starts to get recognized, right? We take a really thoughtful approach to implementation. It's not just a plug and play. So we take all of the learnings from the sales engagement. And we basically look at it as a consultation, right? Like we want to understand the goals, the objectives, the client in question, right? We also want to share and leverage like our deep bench of client experience to recommend best practices from similar programs, right? So that's a really important critical step. It's not just lift and shift. Next, that's when our PMO type individuals come into play. They create like a really detailed project plan, right? Like we want everybody aligned. We want to make sure we've got clear deliverables and timelines, and we get going, and then it's on us. Now we're building, right? We are configuring workflows, we're building permissions, all the integrations under Harris's purview, they're pre-built, right? It's not like we are going and developing a brand new integration. So it's all really in the configuration of that account and that experience. And it's about tailoring that experience to the client's needs. And then the long pole in the tent typically ends up being testing, right? We spend all this time understanding what you want. We spend all this time building what you want. And then, the longest time, believe it or not, is like testing. Okay, did we do it right? Did we get it right? Does it have the expected behaviors that you were anticipating? So running through a thorough UAT to just ensure everything works. And then finally, we train, we go live, and we do hypercare. So it goes into the hands of our trusted customer success partners who are typically involved very early on in the implementation, and we make sure clients are good, and we all leave, float away on our happy clouds, and we've launched another successful client. So it's that's like one of my favorite parts of the entire sales engagement, is seeing them go live.
Yeah, and I'll just add, I mean, Matt summed it up perfectly.
Yep.
I get to obviously talk to a lot of partners and attend some partner events. In fact, I was at one last week, and there's nothing I love more than a client coming up to me and saying, when this actually happened last week, just absolutely thrilled with it's not just about the product that we're offering, and it's about recognizing the consultative nature of what we do, being thrilled with the integration, guiding them through the integration, saying no when appropriate, and understanding like if we have a better way to do something, they appreciate us informing them of that. And again, just given our expertise and going back to that industry expertise, just hearing the appreciation for that is great. And again, it all starts with that first experience of implementation.
Yeah, a wonderful real-time example there, Harris. So thank you for sharing. Is there anything else that you can add into that detail, though, of a smooth process and we're not disrupting the hiring?
Yeah. Again, I just think it's important for our customers to remove any sort of disruption, and that we put them in a position to appropriately manage change, which can be daunting, depending upon certainly the size and structure of that customer. So again, I go back to the consultative nature of our implementation process, the dedicated support, the levels of communication. Again, I can't stress more how passionately I feel about the importance of communication, constant communication, over communication between our teams and the teams of our customers during that implementation process. It just puts their minds at ease.
So First Advantage customers and now our partners, Harris, what is the role that our partners play with this implementation process?
So in addition to what Matt referenced, our strong relationships with our partners allow us to readily access their teams when appropriate or when needed, whether we need general support in our build or in testing, or if we just need to hop on a call with the customer to ask the right questions, or in some cases, like I mentioned, even suggest a better way. But just making sure that we're aligned with the partner is super important. For the customers who may have custom needs or some specific nuances, again, just having access to partners and that the collaborative nature of those relationships are what gets me going, and is a kudos really to the entire partnerships team that's establishing great relationships.
Yeah, if I may add, I think I find more often than not that the integrations we've built take full advantage of the capabilities of our partners wherever we can. And it's always a pleasure to hear, I didn't know you can do that, right? Yeah. man, is that music to a salesperson's ears? Like, yes, that is a thing we can do to make your life just that much easier. And really, it's all about that consultation, right? They're going to come in with a preconceived set of understandings. I talked about baseline functionality, so being able to share and let them know, like, there are efficiencies that we can drive between our platform functionality and taking advantage of like what our partners make available to us. So again, this is implementation. It's it shouldn't be, but it is such a highlight of my job and the experience here.
Well, I must say that, the emotion coming from the two of you right now really just shows that you are so passionate about this, and that the company has done a really good job outlining this and making sure that these processes are appropriate, are smooth, are seamless. And again, it's for that end user. It's for our customers and their candidates at the end of the day. But yes, kudos to you both. The passion is really shining through, and I love it. So, I mean, I have passion, but you guys are really adding into it. So looking ahead, I think I know one of these. Wink,
maybe.
wink. I think we talked about it. Matt, what trends do you see shaping the future of background screening?
Yeah, I don't know if I've mentioned it yet, but identity is certainly the topic du jour, and it's in, for a reason, right? 1 in 4 applicants by 2028 are going to be fraudulent, right? That's Gartner's estimation. Really, you got to verify identity and secure this data now. Getting that confidence up is a non-negotiable. What we're seeing is clients now apply it at different phases of the recruiting experience, right? Doing it at time of interview, doing it at time of background check, doing it at time of onboarding. So that's certainly a trend that continues to grow. Secondly, I think AI automation, right? Like, you didn't hear it from me a ton today, but every single news article you open, it's about AI and the AI revolution. So AI automation, how are you going to use AI to continue to improve the speed and accuracy of your work? How are you going to create better experiences for your recruiters? How are you going to create better experiences for your candidates? In our space in particular, I think regulatory pressures continue to rise, right? Fair chance, ban the box, doesn't go away. Organizations are constantly looking for partners that are agile and have platforms that are robust enough to help facilitate like all those different requirements that are put on them. So at the end of the day, it's like you got to choose the right vendor and partner that's going to be here for you today as well as tomorrow and can help continue to evolve with ultimately, what's going to be a moving target, so to speak.
It's a nice list of trends you got there. So Harris, how are we preparing to meet these trends through partnerships?
Yeah, as Matt was talking, I was thinking back to HR Tech a couple of weeks ago, which is great because we get to see, so many of our partners all under one roof, and we schedule quite a bit of meetings, and in almost every one of these meetings, as we're bringing up the conversation about identity verification, as the words are coming out of our mouths, the people that we're speaking to at our partners are like, they're going like this, nodding their heads. So, which is great. It kind of validates everything we're saying, but at the same time, it also speaks to the crazy nature of where we're at, and like just the stories that we heard from some of our partners about deep fakes and phony candidates and the rise of these fake people applying for jobs is just wild. So from a partnership standpoint, we're working with so many of them to build identity verifications into the top of the funnel. So, again, typically the background check is done post-offer, but before even that first interview, if you can at least verify quickly that that person is who they say they are, and that they're not some deep fake, I mean, it's recognized as a trend for sure. So that's really the first thing that comes to mind.
Harris, you seem like the type of person that can predict the future. So with that being said, what is one prediction about the future of, integrations, hiring, compliance? What do you think one prediction would be?
Well, before I answer that, the one thing that I can't predict, unfortunately for Matt, is that I'm not sure the Jets are going to win a game all season. But
what about the Giants, though? Give us your.
They're just as unpredictable, but at least they've won a couple. Sorry. So anyway, again, I think it's already started, but in addition to moving up the funnel for identity verification, as we've said many times, the other emerging trend that I want to make sure I talk about is the rising demand for ongoing screening and employee monitoring, especially in regulated industries, although it certainly spans across all of them. So where we've done a great job building these integrations with our partners to enhance the talent acquisition process, now we're looking at ways we can integrate on the talent management or human capital management side to be able to do that continuous screening, whether it's driver monitoring or criminal monitoring, whatever it takes to keep the current employee base up to date, right? So Matt and I at the beginning of this conversation are like, we've been here 20-something years. Granted, we work for First Advantage, and the continuous monitoring obviously does happen, but for people that have been with companies for so long, and you hire them, again, in my case, 26 years ago, how do you know that I haven't been up to some funny business in the last 26 years? The other thing I do want to mention is the growing need for integrations and industry specialized solutions outside the U.S. A lot of these conversations kind of focus around the U.S., but we've built this tremendous ecosystem. So many of our partners do have the global capabilities that we do, and have multinational customers, and so our customers are coming to us more often than ever, asking for integrations that will work for them on an international basis and will accommodate specific international needs. So whether it's a document post-back feature to allow right to work checks in the UK is just one example of a region-specific need that we're addressing with our partners.
Yeah, that's a great detail to add in there. A little fun fact for our audience. But Harris, if a customer or prospect is watching right now or on demand, is there anything else you'd like to let them know about our partner network?
Well, yeah. So I would answer that by saying it's not so much about our partner network as a whole, but more so how we work with their ATS or the system that they're using. So with that in mind, I would say, first and foremost, if you're listening and you're in the market for a new talent acquisition or human capital management platform, please reach out to your customer success partner or even to me directly. We've got great partners that we're ready to recommend. And if you're already with one of our partners, just know that we're ready and willing to work closely with them and with you to enhance your experience with First Advantage. So, and then, again, going back to the global needs, as those needs arise, certainly feel free to reach out and add digital identity verification to your package profile.
All right, just end it right there. No, I'm just kidding. We have been saying that a lot. So I'm going to throw up my handy dandy QR code here. So again, we've talked a lot on this episode. Again, if you'd like to learn more about our integrations, our partnerships, and all those solutions, you'll go ahead and scan that QR code there. We had a great conversation today. And again, kudos to the both of you because the passion really shines through. And you really are providing the best, not only to expand our partner ecosystem, but really to our customers, which is very much appreciated by many, many people. So I want to just close out today with some final thoughts from the two of you. So Matt, I will start with you on just final thoughts from today's episode.
I would say that if you want to learn more, I'm going to cut off because I know she's going to ask, how do you learn more? If you want to learn more, I want you to reach out to your local friendly sales professional. We pride ourselves on having a deep understanding of this network. Harris's team has done a phenomenal job of enabling us with the right tooling so that we understand how best to serve your respective needs. And ultimately, we very much value our partnerships. And I would say that if I were to count different events that I have the pleasure of attending throughout the year, oftentimes the most productive of those are our partner events. So thank you to all our wonderful partners.
Awesome. Harris, some final thoughts from you today.
Yeah, I'll just close with, first and foremost, thanking you and Matt for a great conversation. I also, looking at the calendar, we're pretty close to coming up on a year anniversary of the First Advantage acquisition of Sterling. And I know the three of us come from the Sterling world, and I just want to, thank my partnerships team, as well as the entire First Advantage team for really leaning into partnerships and integrations. And they've been incredibly supportive, and really excited about where things are going. Just the innovative thought process of so many of the people that I've met at First Advantage gets me very excited about our future as it relates to partners and integration. So I'll end with that.
It's only getting better. We love to hear that. So I just want to take a moment again. Thanks our live audience. And if you're tuning in on demand, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, or wherever you're watching this video on demand, I really appreciate you tuning in week after week. We talked about passion today. My passion is delivering great content and great guest speakers to you all. So with that being said, Harris, Matt, thank you guys for joining me today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Caitlin.
Of course. Thanks, everyone. I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.